Have you ever held on tightly to something? A relationship, a goal, a phase of life, only to be devastated when it changed or ended? That heartbreak arises from a common blind spot, forgetting that everything is impermanent. Centuries ago, Gautama Buddha recognized that clinging to what inevitably shifts fuels suffering. Instead of fighting life's natural ebb and flow, he advised, accepting impermanence as the key to inner freedom. But how do you actually do this in a fast-paced, often chaotic world? Let's explore Buddha's insights on impermanence and the practical ways to find peace in life's constant changes. Defining impermanence, anicca. Impermanence, known in Pali as anicca, is one of the cornerstone ideas in Buddhism. It states that everything, material objects, emotions, relationships, even entire civilizations, undergoes change. Nothing stays fixed forever. Buddha observed that when we forget this truth, we latch onto the idea that something, or someone, can stay exactly as it is. Inevitably, when it transforms or disappears, we feel shock or pain. To see impermanence at work, consider the simplest example: your own body. Cells die and regenerate. Hair grays, skin wrinkles. Each moment you shift in ways you often don't notice. Yet you're not the same person you were a decade ago or even a minute ago. Recognizing that nothing is permanent isn't about adopting a grim worldview. Instead, it's an invitation to move with life's rhythms instead of resisting them. The confusion and subsequent suffering arises when we cling to illusions of permanence. Whether it's a job title, a treasured object, or a youthful appearance, we set ourselves up for distress by viewing these as unchanging anchors. Buddha taught that when you align your expectations with reality, that all states naturally shift, you reduce the mental friction that leads to anguish. Why we suffer when things change. From Buddha's perspective, suffering, dukkha, stems largely from attachment and aversion. We crave what pleases us and push away what we dislike. Impermanence intersects with this dynamic in a crucial way. If we believe something pleasing can last forever, or that an uncomfortable situation will never shift, we deceive ourselves. When a cherished relationship ends, for instance, the pain intensifies if you assumed it was locked in place. The end feels like a betrayal of what should have been constant. Similarly, a persistent negative state, like a tough job or an illness, torments us more if we believe it's permanent, blocking hope for better days. Buddha observed that both illusions, eternal positivity or eternal negativity, magnify suffering. Recognizing the unstoppable flow of change reduces these extremes. It's normal to love what's pleasant and recoil from what's painful. The trouble is in forgetting that both are transient. If you cling to today's comforts, you'll resist tomorrow's shift, losing peace. If you despair in today's hardships, you'll overlook that they, too, will shift. By internalizing impermanence, you begin to approach life with a gentler hold, fully experiencing joy without a desperate need to freeze it, and facing challenges with confidence that they also evolve. Buddha's personal awakening to impermanence. Siddhartha Gautama's own life illustrates the power of accepting change. Born into princely luxury, he was shielded from sickness, aging, and death. Yet once he glimpsed these realities, the shell of permanence shattered, propelling him on a quest to alleviate suffering. Through intense meditation, he realized that attempting to cling to youth, health, or pleasure only deepens our pain when life inevitably shifts. This epiphany fueled his middle way, neither extreme indulgence nor harsh austerity, but a balanced approach that acknowledges how everything arises, transforms, and fades. Impermanence is a thread running through all of Buddha's teachings, from relationships and possessions to states of consciousness. By experiencing life as a continuous flow, Buddha found freedom from the anxiety born of wanting everything to remain fixed. Even after enlightenment, Buddha observed monastic routines that underscored impermanence, like daily reflections on aging and mortality. These aren't morbid exercises, but practical reminders. If we know time is limited and change is certain, we focus on what genuinely matters. This acceptance fosters compassion, ethical living, and mental clarity, qualities that endure regardless of the flux around us. How resistance to change fuels stress. Many of us intuitively know change is inevitable, yet we often grip tightly to a partner, a job, or a self-image. This gap between awareness and action sparks stress. We see a loved one's preferences evolve and panic that we're losing them, or watch technology reshape our industry and feel threatened by uncertainty. Buddha would label this friction as attachment. Clinging arises from the false belief that we can freeze time or outcomes to sustain comfort. When reality moves on, the tension accumulates in the form of anxiety, fear, or heartbreak. This doesn't mean we shouldn't treasure wonderful experiences or strive for cherished goals. It means we approach them with an open hand, not a locked grip. A job promotion is exciting, but if you hinge your identity on it, a downturn becomes devastating. Practically speaking, acknowledging impermanence helps you manage transitions more gracefully. Instead of meltdown or denial, you adapt. If you lose your job, you grieve, but you don't fall apart because you never believed that position was an unchanging constant. Letting go of illusions about permanency fosters mental flexibility, making you resilient in the face of shifting circumstances. Embracing impermanence. Finding peace in flux. Embracing impermanence doesn't mean surrendering to apathy. Rather, it's about engaging wholeheartedly with life while recognizing nothing stays static. You enjoy a beautiful sunset, but don't insist it last forever. You handle a conflict at work with the knowledge that this tension too can evolve. Paradoxically, this mindset can amplify gratitude and motivation. You realize each moment is irreplaceable, spurring you to be more present and appreciative. Buddha called this approach non-clinging. Even joys are seen as passing, so you savor them without desperation. Sorrows, while painful, don't become eternal prisons. Embracing impermanence thus fosters emotional balance. You live deeply in each experience without the burden of needing to lock it in place. When an experience wanes, you allow it to depart gracefully, trusting that new experiences will arise. One result is less fear of change. People often dread major life transitions, retirement, moving cities, or children leaving home, because they represent the unknown. Yet with impermanence as a friend rather than a foe, you accept that life is inherently a series of new chapters. Fear recedes as you realize change is the norm, not the exception. Instead of bracing for disruptions, you become skilled at adapting, discovering peace in the flow of life's seasons. Mindful practices to internalize impermanence. Moving from intellectual understanding of impermanence to heartfelt acceptance requires consistent practice. Mindful meditation is a cornerstone. Whether in sitting meditation or walking, you observe breath, bodily sensations, and thoughts. Each breath arises and fades. Each thought emerges and passes, a microcosm of impermanence. You learn not to cling to a pleasant sensation or push away an unpleasant one, viewing them all as transient. Body scan meditations likewise spotlight the body's ever-changing nature. Pain in the knee might intensify, then ease. An itch on the shoulder appears, then dissolves. Noticing these shifts uproots the assumption that bodily sensations are static. Another tool is contemplation of change. Reflect on a memory, maybe a childhood scene or a past friendship, and note how everything has evolved since then. Instead of nostalgia or regret, approach it with gratitude for what was, now replaced by something else. Daily life also provides countless mini-practices. Spot how a mood in the morning differs from midday. Watch a heated argument cool off over hours. If an item breaks, recognize it as part of a natural life cycle. By repeatedly affirming that all phenomena have a beginning, middle, and end, you slowly dismantle the reflex to cling. Over weeks and months, this approach fosters a mellow acceptance that cushions you against sudden upheavals. Practical steps for applying impermanence. Putting impermanence into action goes beyond silent meditations and there are various tangible strategies you can adopt to integrate Buddha's insight. One approach is regular reflection. Each morning or evening, pick a single event, such as a recent conversation or a lingering physical ache, and mentally trace how it has changed over time, noting any developments, resolutions, or surprises. Additionally, journaling on transitions can be immensely helpful. Whenever you undergo a life change, moving to a new home, switching jobs, or experiencing a shift in a relationship, write down your emotions and observe how impermanence plays a role in what you're learning. It's also important to set realistic boundaries, recognizing that friendships or professional roles naturally evolve. Instead of clinging to how they were, practice adapting your expectations. If a colleague's responsibilities shift, don't mourn the old dynamic indefinitely. Allow room for the relationship to adjust. Another useful practice is gratitude in the present moment, which underscores impermanence by encouraging appreciation of what you have now without assuming it will always stay the same. This can paradoxically heighten your enjoyment of current blessings, since you're aware they won't last forever. Finally, releasing attachments one by one is a powerful way to embrace flux. If you notice yourself clinging, perhaps hoarding possessions or rigidly following certain routines, try letting go in small steps, like donating items you rarely use or changing an ingrained habit. Experiencing how easily you can adapt to new circumstances builds confidence and lessens the fear of life's inevitable changes. How embracing impermanence reduces suffering. Buddha's central promise was that by awakening to reality, particularly the truth of impermanence, you decrease your suffering. Think of how heartbreak can devastate you if you believed love would never shift or fade. Recognizing love's fluidity doesn't cheapen it. It deepens your appreciation and lessens the shock if it transforms. Similarly, when something you dread comes to pass, the knowledge of impermanence helps you endure. You realize that even the bleakest moment is a snapshot in time. This faith in the bigger flow encourages perseverance and emotional resilience. You learn not to label a difficult phase as your permanent fate, but as a passage that can lead to renewed opportunities. On a practical level, fewer illusions about permanence means less mental friction. You no longer waste precious energy lamenting why things had to change. Instead, you're calmer, able to respond resourcefully. Buddha taught that real peace isn't found in stalling life's currents, but in surfing them skillfully. Embrace impermanence, and your emotional load lightens. You discover that a mind aligned with reality effortlessly navigates shifts, adapting without the drag of unrealistic expectations. The law of impermanence can initially seem daunting, but Buddha's wisdom reveals it as a path to deeper peace and resilience. By understanding change as natural, not an enemy to fight, you transform how you experience life's ups and downs. What aspect of impermanence resonates with you most? Feel free to share below. And if this exploration has sparked insights, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Monk Mindset, for more guidance on using Buddhist principles to reduce suffering, nurture gratitude, and confidently face the future. May each moment remind you of life's gentle, ever-shifting flow. Have you ever wondered if there's a way to keep your mind steady when life seems like a non-stop whirlwind? In our busy modern world, filled with work stress, social media, and endless commitments, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Yet Buddha's timeless teachings remind us that true strength comes from within. By practicing compassion, mindfulness, and the art of letting go, we can develop unbreakable mental resilience that stands strong in any storm. Let's explore these age-old insights and discover how they fit perfectly into our everyday lives. The seeds of inner strength. Deep inside each of us lies the potential for a calm and unshakable mind. Buddha taught that our thoughts shape our reality. If we can learn to watch those thoughts without getting carried away, we start to see that many of our worries come from how we react, not from what's actually happening around us. Monks often sit quietly, allowing any stress or anxiety to float by like clouds in the sky. They don't fight these feelings, nor do they cling to them. Instead, they gently notice and let go. This simple practice shows that we don't have to be at war with our thoughts. By taking a few minutes each day to breathe deeply and observe our mind, we create space. That space is where our inner strength can grow. Rather than seeing problems as monsters we must defeat, we learn to see them as teachers. Every time we face a challenge, we have a chance to practice patience and peaceful awareness. In a world full of noise, even brief moments of quiet can make a world of difference. Through consistent practice, the seeds of our inner strength begin to blossom, helping us remain steady when life's storms roll in. Embracing impermanence. Buddha emphasized that nothing stays the same forever. Everything, good or bad, will eventually pass. Think about how seasons change or how childhood friendships evolve over time. Our lives are in constant motion, yet we often cling to certain situations or people, hoping they'll remain exactly as they are. This sets us up for disappointment. When change happens, we panic or feel betrayed by life. But by embracing impermanence, we learn to see change as natural. When monks sweep the temple grounds, they don't expect them to stay spotless forever. Leaves will fall again, dust will gather, and they'll sweep once more. In the same way, we can clean up our minds. We acknowledge stress or sadness, tend to it like clearing away debris, and recognize that new challenges will appear tomorrow. Instead of dreading this cycle, we learn to flow with it. By letting go of the need for total control, we reduce fear and frustration. We realize that tough times will pass, and so will moments of joy, making each experience precious. Accepting impermanence doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we appreciate each moment fully, knowing that change is part of life's grand design. Mindfulness in daily life. Mindfulness isn't just about sitting still for hours, though formal meditation is valuable. It's about bringing full attention to whatever you're doing right now. When monks wash their bowls, they focus entirely on that task. They feel the water, notice the shape of the bowl, and remain present. This practice helps them stay grounded and calm. In our busy lives, it's easy to eat a meal without truly tasting it or walk outside without noticing the sun's warmth. Mindfulness gives us a chance to slow down and reconnect with life's simple gifts. Even a short pause can reset our frazzled minds. For example, try taking 3 slow, deep breaths before replying to a stressful email. Or notice the textures and flavors in your lunch today. These small acts of attention train us to stay calm under pressure. Buddha taught that awareness of the present moment helps us avoid being pulled into regrets about the past or fears of the future. When we tune into what's happening right now, we create a gap where we can choose our response instead of blindly reacting. With consistent mindfulness, that gap grows wider. We become more patient, clearer in our thinking, and kinder in our actions, all of which are signs of true mental strength. The power of compassion. Compassion is at the heart of Buddha's teachings. It's also a core ingredient in building mental resilience. We often think we have to be tough and closed off to handle life's challenges, but true strength can involve a gentle, open heart. Monks show compassion by offering support to others, yet they also show kindness toward themselves. Many of us easily beat ourselves up when we make mistakes or fail to meet our goals. This self-criticism can wear us down over time. Compassion flips this cycle. When we see our own flaws with understanding, we create space for growth rather than guilt. Similarly, when we recognize that others are also struggling in their own ways, we reduce our anger and judgment. Offering a helping hand or a listening ear not only lifts someone else's spirits, but it also reminds us of our shared humanity. Over time, compassion dissolves the walls of isolation that make us feel alone in our problems. It nurtures a sense of connection and support. Far from being weak, compassion actually strengthens us from the inside. It promotes calmer minds, happier relationships, and a steady sense of purpose, even when life throws us curveballs. Practicing patience in a fast world. Our modern world often seems to reward speed above all else. We want fast internet, quick success, and instant solutions to our problems. But Buddha's lessons suggest a slower, more patient path can yield deeper and longer-lasting results. Monks who copy sacred texts line by line do so with care, not rushing the process. They understand that patience not only preserves quality, but also calms the mind. When we rush through life, we tend to make careless mistakes and become easily irritated. Practicing patience means easing up on ourselves and others. If a friend is late, or if our goals take longer to reach than we hoped, we can choose not to let impatience stir up stress. This choice helps keep us steady and balanced. Patience pairs well with mindfulness. When you sense your frustration building, maybe in a long checkout line or in traffic, pause and take a slow breath. Notice the tension in your body and gently relax it. This simple act can transform a moment of annoyance into a moment of clarity. Patience also applies to our personal growth. We won't become perfectly calm or wise overnight. Each day is a step, and every step counts. Embracing patience reminds us that steady progress, no matter how small, builds a foundation that can stand firm against life's toughest storms. Overcoming the grip of ego. The ego is that inner voice that craves admiration and panics at criticism. It pushes us to measure our worth by how much we achieve, how many compliments we get, or how we compare to others. Buddha taught that clinging to a fixed sense of me or mine leads to suffering because life is constantly changing. If we define ourselves by something unstable, like success, wealth, or even relationships, our happiness can collapse if those things shift. Monks often live simply and humbly to reduce the ego's demands. This doesn't mean you must give up your modern lifestyle. It means noticing when your ego starts to take over. For example, are you upset because someone questioned your idea, or because you think it threatens your identity? Learning to spot these ego traps gives you the power to step back and respond calmly. The ego can act like a bully, forcing us to chase an endless list of demands. Overcoming it even a little bit at a time brings immense peace. When the ego loses its grip, we see we're more than our achievements and failures. We become free to grow, adapt, and connect with others in a genuine way. That freedom directly boosts our mental resilience because our mood no longer swings wildly based on external approval, merging ancient wisdom with everyday life. It's easy to think that monk-like wisdom belongs only in temples or ancient texts, but Buddha's teachings are meant for everyone, everywhere. We just need to adapt them to our daily routines. Maybe you can't meditate for an hour at dawn, but you can take 5 minutes before work to sit quietly. Maybe you can't leave your job and live on a mountaintop, but you can bring compassion and patience into your team meetings and family dinners. Small, mindful habits, done consistently, have a big impact. Consider placing reminders on your phone to pause and breathe. Or keep a short quote from Buddha on your desk to inspire you. When stress flares up, gently recall these teachings. The power of patience, the importance of compassion, the reality that everything changes. Each time you practice these insights, you strengthen the roots of your inner peace. Our modern world is full of distractions that can erode our calm if we're not careful. But when we consciously choose to merge old wisdom with new technology, like using a meditation app or sharing uplifting messages on social media, we tap into the best of both worlds. By weaving these practices into our busy schedules, we shape a life where ancient truths guide us through modern challenges, helping us stay grounded and strong, building a lifelong foundation. Growing unbreakable mental strength is a process that evolves over your entire life. Buddha never said the path was easy, only that it was possible for anyone willing to walk it. Each day offers a fresh chance to practice, whether it's through breathing exercises, kind gestures, or simple awareness. Think of monks who have spent decades refining their minds through meditation, kindness, and letting go. Their calm isn't an accident. It's the result of gentle and steady work. You too can cultivate this inner calm in your own environment. When obstacles arise, see them as tests that help you practice what you've learned. Over time, you'll notice a shift. Challenges don't knock you down as easily, and you bounce back quicker when they do. This resilience isn't about forcing yourself to be tough. It's about allowing wisdom and compassion to guide your thoughts and actions. Slowly but surely, you become like a sturdy tree, flexible enough to sway with the wind, but deeply rooted so you don't break. With commitment and patience, you can create an unshakable foundation that supports you through all of life's highs and lows. May these lessons spark a newfound sense of calm and strength in your life. By focusing on mindfulness, compassion, patience, and letting go of ego, you're building a mindset that can stand firm when times get tough. Remember, growth is a journey. Each step, no matter how small, brings you closer to the peace we all seek. If you'd like more guidance on bringing these teachings into your daily life, subscribe to Monk Mindset. Together, we'll walk this path toward a more grounded and resilient life. Have you ever found yourself craving a sense of calm and clarity, yet feeling pulled in countless directions by the pressures of daily life? In our busy modern world, we often forget that ancient wisdom can offer a steady path forward. By reflecting on timeless Buddhist teachings, like the value of focused effort, the power of genuine intention, and the promise of self-mastery, we can learn to transform distraction into mindful living. Ready to rediscover your own inner stillness? Let's explore how these centuries-old insights can illuminate our modern journey. The Potter's Wheel of Karma. Imagine shaping your life the way a potter shapes clay, molding each detail with thoughtful attention. In ancient Buddhist philosophy, karma is not just about destiny. It is a dynamic dance between your intentions, actions, and the results that follow. Each decision you make forms a single thread in the tapestry of your existence, eventually weaving into your everyday reality. Recognizing that your choices create the life you live can be both humbling and empowering. This means you are not helpless, adrift on a sea of random events, but rather a co-creator of your own destiny. In modern life, it's easy to blame traffic jams, job pressures, or the unpredictability of social media for our stress and dissatisfaction. Yet when you see yourself as the potter who shapes each outcome, you begin to reclaim your power. Every word you speak, each habit you adopt, and all the thoughts you entertain form the clay of your future. By taking responsibility for these actions, you lessen the grip of victimhood and open the door to intentional living. Rather than letting life happen to you, you can choose how you want to happen to life, aligning your actions with who you truly aspire to be. The Bridge of Right Intention. Stepping onto the bridge of right intention invites you to consider the underlying reasons behind everything you do. When your motives are vague, your path becomes just as hazy. Perhaps you're scrolling through your phone at night because you want distraction, or you're rushing through tasks with no clear sense of direction. Ancient wisdom teaches us that a clear, compassionate intention serves as the guiding star of our actions, shining light on the road ahead. In daily life, this means your goals should spring from a place of authenticity. If you crave peace, you might set aside consistent moments of silence, allowing your mind to rest from the daily clamor. If you yearn for professional growth, you could define a focused plan to sharpen your skills. Right intention flows from a well-defined inner compass. It helps you identify what truly matters: family, meaningful work, self-awareness, and channel your energy accordingly. This clarity safeguards you from drifting off course and empowers you to remain consistent even when motivation wanes. The more you refine your purpose, the steadier your steps across life's many bridges will be. The Forge of Self-Mastery. In an age brimming with endless distractions, email pings, social media alerts, streaming services, guarding your mental and emotional well-being can feel like a monumental task. Ancient Buddhist teachings describe self-mastery as an internal forge where disciplined effort refines your potential into genuine skill. Instead of merely wishing for focus, you repeatedly strengthen your mind by choosing constructive practices over shallow diversions. True self-mastery involves a commitment to progress that stands firm even when impatience or temptation tries to derail you. Imagine forging steel. Intense heat and pressure transform raw material into something resilient. By constantly deciding to read a book rather than scrolling mindlessly, or opting for a calming breath instead of lashing out in anger, you are tempering your spirit. Soon, your tolerance for discipline grows, and the once impossible routines become everyday rhythms. The modern world may test your determination at every turn, but remember that you hold the hammer. Every time you invest in your betterment, through personal reflection, mindfulness, or creative pursuits, you stoke the fires of self-mastery. Over time, you'll notice your capacity to stay calm, adapt, and persevere evolves into an unbreakable inner core. The archer's discipline. Picture an archer poised to release an arrow. If their mind wanders or their stance falters, the shot veers off course. Like that archer, you, too, need stability before you let your intentions fly. In the swirl of modern chaos, small, repetitive actions can anchor your day and keep you on target. Waking up at a set time, journaling your goals, or dedicating the first hour of the day to creative work, these seemingly trivial habits form the disciplined posture from which you release each arrow of effort. Ancient teachings remind us that major breakthroughs often result from the accumulation of countless small steps. Achieving mastery does not hinge solely on motivation. Instead, it relies on a consistent routine that you trust, even on days when enthusiasm wavers. People who embrace discipline as a daily ritual often discover that the path to success has little to do with instant gratification. Rather, it emerges from the steady practice of investing time, energy, and focus into the tasks that matter. By becoming an archer in your own life, you learn to train your body and mind to align with your objectives, ensuring that every shot, every moment, brings you closer to your intended mark. The riverbank of equanimity. Along a tranquil riverbank, the waters flow ceaselessly by, representing the constant movement of life's events and changes. Equanimity is the calm riverbank itself, the unshakable ground beneath your feet regardless of external chaos. In Buddhist teachings, equanimity arises when you stop chasing every fleeting desire and panicking at every unfavorable turn. Instead of wasting energy on what you cannot control, you focus on what is always within reach: your breath, your attitude, and your ethical principles. In a modern context, equanimity might look like maintaining your sense of peace when personal plans abruptly change or when unforeseen difficulties arise at work. You recognize that while you cannot prevent the flow of ups and downs, you can choose how you respond to them. By learning to ride the waves with grace, frustration and disappointment have less power over your mood. When grounded in equanimity, you make decisions from a place of balance rather than impulse. This serenity, cultivated over time, becomes your home base, a steady refuge where you recharge. Whenever the current of life feels overwhelming, remember you have an anchor in your own mindful awareness, always ready to return you to calm waters. The Phoenix of Right View. From the ashes of adversity, the legendary phoenix rises reborn, symbolizing transformation through struggle. Right view, an essential teaching in Buddhism, encourages us to see setbacks as catalysts for growth, rather than final verdicts on our worth. Every disappointment, heartbreak, or failure has the potential to ignite new wisdom once we accept it as part of our story. This is the lens that transforms suffering into a kind of teacher, guiding us to reflect on the lessons hidden within life's darker moments. When misfortune strikes, the initial sting can feel overwhelming. Yet if you remain present and refrain from labeling the event as purely negative, you create space for learning. Perhaps a lost job nudges you toward a career that aligns more with your core values, or a painful relationship breakdown leads you to deeper self-awareness. The flame of hardship need not consume you. Instead, it can strip away illusions, burn through complacency, and reveal an inner strength that you might never have discovered otherwise. Embracing right view means trusting that every challenge holds seeds of renewal if you are willing to greet it with openness and curiosity. The lighthouse of prioritization. Think of a tall lighthouse piercing through the fog with a single, unwavering beam of light. That beam is your sense of priority, a bright focus guiding you through the haze of endless distractions. When everything competes for your attention, from incessant notifications to myriad social obligations, your progress easily stalls. Ancient wisdom highlights that meaningful achievement stems from consistent focus, not scattered effort. By consciously choosing what truly deserves your energy, you effectively shine a guiding light on your goals, ensuring they remain visible amid life's countless diversions. In practice, prioritization means picking the single project that matters most each day and devoting your best hours to it. It means saying no more often so you can wholeheartedly say yes to what genuinely aligns with your core values. This can be challenging as we often fear missing out or disappointing others. Yet every time you guard your focus, you reaffirm your commitment to building a purposeful life rather than a busy one. Over time, the simple act of shutting off notifications, scheduling deep work sessions, or creating boundaries around your digital usage can reinstate you as the captain of your own attention. Like a steadfast lighthouse keeper, you ensure your guiding light never dims. Reframing failures as opportunities. Failure often comes with a sense of finality, but reframing it can open a door to deeper insight. From a Buddhist perspective, nothing is truly stagnant. Everything is in flux, which means setbacks are merely points along the path, not dead ends. The difference lies in how you interpret them. Do you regard each stumble as evidence of your limitations or as valuable feedback for refining your approach? When you see failure as a chance to regroup and recalibrate, it loses its power to paralyze you. Modern life amplifies the fear of imperfection, with social media showcasing glossy highlights and encouraging us to hide our shortcomings. Yet some of the world's most innovative accomplishments emerged after countless experiments that failed. Each disappointment taught the pioneers of art, science, and business where their methods faltered and how they could adapt. Whether you're learning a new skill, applying for a promotion, or starting a side hustle, failure becomes a building block if you strip away the shame and embrace the lessons. This approach fosters resilience. It nurtures a balanced mindset that can stretch and grow through every obstacle, leading you to unexpected triumphs and profound self-awareness. Thank you for sharing this journey into ancient wisdom, adapted for our modern challenges. May these practices serve as a steady hand whenever life feels chaotic, encouraging you to maintain discipline, find clarity, and embrace each failure as a teacher. True transformation happens one choice at a time, and each new day offers the chance to shape your destiny with mindful intent. If you enjoyed these insights, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Monk Mindset, for more contemplative explorations that guide you toward greater balance and peace.